Hello friends. Once upon a time in a village, there lived a poor man with his wife. They were so poor that they didn't have enough money to buy food for themselves. One day, the poor man went out into the fields to look for some work. As he was walking along, he saw an old man sitting on a nearby tree. The man called out to him, "Hey, old man, what are you doing?" The old man replied, "I am guarding my treasure." The poor man asked, "Where is it?" "I would like to see it," the old man said. "It is in this field." Then he left the tree and went into the field. The poor man followed him and found a little hole under a big stone. Inside the hole, he saw some grains of rice and some gold coins. He took them out, looked at them and was astonished. "Wow! What a huge treasure!" he exclaimed. Then the old man came back and said, "Take half of it and leave the other half for me." The poor man hesitated, but then took half of the treasure and went away. When he reached home, he was so happy that he could not control his emotions. He shouted, my wife, come and see what I have brought for you." His wife also became very happy seeing the gold coins. They decided to use some of the gold to start a small business. They invested the money in a shop and started making profits. Day by day, their wealth grew. They became one of the richest couples in the village. One day, the poor man's friend visited him. On seeing all the wealth, he asked, "How did you become so rich?" The poor man told him everything about the old man and the hidden treasure. The friend became greedy and wanted all the treasure for himself. So he went to the old man and asked him, "Please tell me where you hid the treasure so that I can take it all for myself." The old man refused, but the friend kept on asking him. At last, the old man told him about the hole under the stone. The next day, the friend went to the field, found the hole, but he did not find any treasure. It was empty. The greedy man was very upset. He started digging up the entire field to find the treasure, but it was no use. He searched everywhere, but he could not find it. Just then, the old man appeared there and asked him, "What are you doing?" The greedy man replied, "You took all the treasure yesterday. Where is it?" The old man said, "I don't have any treasure. This is the only place where I come to sit every day." The greedy man realized that he had been cheated and became very sad. Friends, now the question is, why did the old man give half of the treasure to the poor man, but not to his friend? Why did he trick the greedy man? To understand this, let's see the story from the beginning. Once upon a time in a village, there lived a poor man with his wife. They were so poor that they didn't have enough money to buy food for themselves. One day, the poor man went to the fields to look for work. On the way, he saw an old man sitting on a tree. The old man could have easily taken advantage of the poor man's innocence and told him that the treasure was far away. But instead, he showed him the actual place where it was hidden. The old man did not need the treasure because he was already very rich. In fact, he was so rich that even a huge amount of gold could not make him any richer. So he was ready to give half of his treasure to anyone who found it. The poor man was innocent and kind-hearted, so the old man gave him half of his treasure and let him go. But the poor man's friend was different. He was greedy and selfish. If he had been given the whole treasure, he would have used it all for his own benefit. He would not have shared even a single coin with anyone else. The old man knew this, so he did not trust him. If he gave the treasure to the greedy man, he would have used it all to make himself richer. But when he gave it to the poor man, the extra wealth made him still richer. The poor man used the money to improve his life and start a business. So the old man decided to give the treasure to the poor man instead of the greedy man. Friends, the old man tested both the men to see what they would do with the treasure. He wanted to give the treasure to the poor man, but he needed some excuse. So he pretended to be a poor old man and said that he was guarding his treasure. When the poor man asked him about the treasure, he showed him the real place without taking any advantage of him. But with the greedy man, he did not do that. Instead, he tricked him and made him search for the treasure. When the greedy man found the empty hole, he understood that he had been cheated. Friends, this story teaches us an important lesson. It is a lesson of greediness. You must have noticed that whenever a person becomes too greedy, he does not think about the consequences of his actions. Greed makes a person selfish. He only thinks about himself and his own needs, and in the process, he forgets about the feelings of others. Greed makes a person blind. He cannot see anything except the thing he is after, and in this way, he often misses a bigger picture. Greed also destroys relationships. A greedy person is never satisfied with what he has. He always wants more and more, and in this way, he ends up losing all that he has. Now let's see what happens in the story because of the greedy man's greediness. If he had been satisfied with what he had, if he had not been greedy, then he would have stayed at his home instead of going to the fields. Then he would not have seen the old man and there would have been no treasure for him. Not only this, but his friendship with the poor man would have saved him from all this trouble. But no, because of his greed, he lost the treasure and most importantly, he lost a good friend. So friends, this is the story of the goose that laid golden eggs. This story teaches us that we should be satisfied with what we have and not be greedy because greed often makes us lose what we already have. Now tell me, what lesson did you learn from this story? Share your answers in the comments section below the video. Also, if you like this story, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified when I post new stories. Thanks for watching. See you soon.